So many new things in this section. We're going to be making things black and white. We're going to be bringing in charts, and I'm going to show you how to adjust them and adjust the data on those charts. We're going to create something which is going to be for commercial printing. So for those of you on the paid version, you will be able to send this directly to the printer. We'll have the printer's marks in there. We'll be converting it into CMYK. If that whole CMYK thing's just gone whoosh over your head, don't worry about it. We'll talk about that as we go along. Anyway, as you can see, it looks amazing. We're going to be erasing certain bits out of pictures as well, which is kind of cool. But let's just get on and get started. Let's create something for print, for commercial print. And I'm going to go to the top here where it says Print See All. And I'm going to do a flyer. So I'm going to take this little flyer button. And I've created an A4 page. Now, I'm going to go and put some pictures on this page, but I'm going to Elements because what I'd like to do is I'd like to put a number of pictures in here. So rather than just dragging pictures in, I'm going to go down to the frames and grids. So with the frames, I could draw a few frames in there and put the pictures in there, but I'd like to use a grid for more, well, so that it lines up better. I'm going to click on See All. And we've got a nice one here with 3 pictures in. I think I need a few more than that. So I'm going to keep going down. 4 pictures over there. And we can keep going. There's so many options over here. There's quite a few pictures, 6 pictures altogether. I think that'll take a little bit too long for us. So I'm going to go with this 5-picture one. Drag that in. Now, as far as the size goes, you can see it is slightly bigger than the page. I'm going to just extend it a little bit further. That is very, very important, this being larger than the page, because when it comes to putting the printer's cropping marks on, we want to make sure that there's extra areas on the page. The problem with this, though, is if you make them too big, like that, you'll find that you cut off some of them on the side. So just be aware of that. Those edge ones might be slightly smaller than the next ones in. But let's just pop that out a little bit like so. So I'm going to go and find some pictures and bring them in. But just before I do that, there's actually sort of gaps between the individual columns. Now that might look really good, or I might not want it. If you click on spacing, you can change the size of those. They're normally called gutters, the shapes between them. Now, I'm going to just leave them like that for now. If you want to change them, by all means do so. But I'm going to go to my Elements, back to my photos, and I'm going to look for business. Find some business images. Over there, let's see all. So I'm looking for, and then they disappeared. So I'm looking for pictures probably along this line here. No, not too much in the way of people in there, but some images like that. Now you can see as I'm dragging it, it's just saying, where do you want to drop this? Well, I want to drop that one right over there. If you double click it, you can then go and move it around inside that frame. Don't forget that. And I'll just say done over there. And I'll just find a few more. That looks very business-like, so I'm going to drag that one in and once again place that wherever I want it. Double click, go and edit it. I think we'll handshake over there. Group of people, they're definitely in the wrong position, so I think we'll have that with a handshake. Click on done, and one more image to go on the other side. I think that. Now, I double clicked by mistake and it just came in on top of it. So if I do that, you can see I can drag it and drop it straight in. I did it twice actually, like so. And if I click on this area, once again it just shows me the individual areas of that grid. If we click on spacing, I can then adjust them all even after the fact. Have a bit of a go with that. I'm going to change some of these pictures because I think these ones here are a bit too light. I want them to be slightly darker, but have a go, put together some images into some form of grid like so, and then we'll go on from there. All of these images that I've got don't really work together. They're sort of, there's blues and oranges and browns. They're not really cohesive. So what I'm going to do is to make them all black and white. And that's actually quite easy, because all you do is you just go to the image, click on edit, and you can go to the filters. Let's just choose see all in there. Now there's so many different filters down here, but I'm going to go across to the mono filter, and you can see the different types of black and white that you can create in here. There's a whole range of them. I think the ink for me looks about the best for that image. Let's go on to this one here. Once again, I just click on it, go over here. I think that's the best for that one. This one here, prefer the slate, and I'll just keep going until all of those are in black and white, and the whole thing should then look a whole lot better. Yep, like that. If you wanted a slight bit of color over the top, well, you could either do them that way. You could go to something like duotone. So if I went over here, once again, I'm just going to go to edit, and I could go and use the duotones on there. So we can go to effects and duotone, and you could either choose a custom color there, and that way you could go to your highlights and put a little bit of color in if you wanted something like that with your own branding or brand color on it. I'm going to undo that because I just want the fast black and white. Now, if you want to put a color over the top, once again, we could do that with a shape. So I'm going to go to Elements, to my shapes. I'm just going to put a shape over the image. You'll notice I'm going right over the edge. I said we'll talk about that later on. And if you notice, when I go to the edge there's a little dotted line that appears. Just notice that dotted line. There'll be one on this other side as well. And I'm going to pick a color in here. Maybe I've got a brand color that I want to use. Kind of quite like that one there. And we could even go up here, change the transparency of that so we can see a bit of the image coming through underneath. I might have that color right at the top there. And the important thing here is that you go over the edge of that. I'm going to hold down the Alt or the Option key and just make another copy of that down the bottom, possibly with a different color in there. So if you'd like to just have a bit of a play with that, make things black and white, and then we'll move on from there. Now that I've got my background, I'm going to put in some text. I've gone to the text tool. You can just add a text box if you wish and choose your own font, or you can go and choose your branded fonts in there. More of that later in the course. You can have it as headings, subheadings, or body text, but I'm going to go down here and find a pre-made font combination. So these are often called font pairs, where you have two different fonts together. I'm going to type in the word business over there, and these are all business style fonts. So moving down here, I'm just going to look for one that works for me. I like that. So I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to change the text to what I wanted to say. So over here I'm going to put in the city conference, and I'll pull that out. We'll change the size of that in a moment. And you can see this one moves with that, so I can double click on there and edit it very quickly. So next spring. But I can also, if I want to have these as separate pieces, just go in and ungroup them. If I click on them, there's a little ungroup button over there, so I can ungroup them, and now they will all move around individually. This one over here needs to be a lot smaller. Those two, let's pop those two together. And with this bit of text, I'm going to go in and I'm going to make that left aligned right aligned over there. So we're going to take this one, make it a lot smaller, so it's just like a little strap line underneath it, and we'll have City Conference sitting on that line. If you can't read it because of the color, just go up to your color up here and pick a different color there. Have a bit of a go, get some text going on in there. Doesn't have to be the same as mine. You can do whatever you want with that text. Let's get on and do our second page now. I'm going to click the Add Page button, and then I'm going to bring in a picture down here. Now I'm going to go to my elements. I've put in the word industry in there, and I've found a picture that I like. Once again, you can use anything you like, but I'm going to use this graphic over here. And I'm going to make my graphic, once again, bigger than the page. So I'll just pull that down over like that, so it overlaps the edge, and I'm going to pull it down near the bottom. Now I really like this graphic, however it doesn't suit what I'm doing. I'm just going to zoom in on my page over here a little bit so that you can see what I'm doing, because instead of having these cogs and those industry things, I don't know what that is over there, I want to just have little words in there, or even numbers and then a legend down the side. So how can I get rid of them? Because this is a photo. We can click on the photo, and then I'm going to go and click Edit, and we've got something in here under the Magic Studio called Magic Erase. Now if I click Magic Erase, it takes me into the Magic Erase Studio area. I've got a brush in there, and I can change the brush size. So I'll just do a biggish brush over there, and I'm going to remove this weird little robot arm thing. Now once I've done that, I click Erase, and it just does it for me. There we go, very quickly like that. And I can then just work through the rest of these that I want to get rid of. That one there, this one here needs to go. Just get rid of that. This one. Now the other two that I've left there, I'll just erase those for now. But there's two more that I've left there, and I want to get rid of them completely. I don't even want to have the little line in there. So let's just move across. So I can now just erase them out by going around them like that. Let's do that one and that one. Once again, click on Erase. I've done that with a largish brush. And then once that's done that, I can make my brush a lot smaller. I think that's about right. And just paint along this little line over here. Even though I'm going over the arm, just keep painting right over that. And I'll do this one as well. The software is really clever, the way that it just realizes what to fill in on those extra areas. Right, I'm happy with that, and I'll click on Erase, and that'll get rid of those two as well. There we go. You can't even see where they were. Let me do this one over here. So if I do that one there, let's go all the way across into that. I don't think we need this one either. There we go. And then a larger brush. I'll just increase my brush size a bit, and we'll get rid of that and that. Once again, click on Erase, and that's sorted for us. And we can then put some text into those little boxes. Brilliant. I'm happy with that. I'll just click off of that, and there it is, all ready for me. Have a bit of a go with that. Don't just try it on images with graphics. If you want to have a go with people or anything like that, by all means try it on there, see what you get. All you have to do is click the Edit button, go to Magic Erase, and paint out the area that you want, and then, well, hope like anything that it does what you want. honestly no idea what that's going to do. Sometimes does a great job, sometimes not so much. But if it's a simple piece, it shouldn't have an issue with it. That wasn't bad at all. Try it out. Now, as you can see, I've put in some numbers in here, and these are just using the standard text tool, and I just made one the right size and shape, and then I copied it across in there. And over here we've got little bits of text. Once again, just use a text tool to pop those bits down the side to give us a legend. At the top, we want to add in a chart with some bits and pieces, and I'd like to do a circular chart, so a pie chart. So I'm going to go to my elements in there, and I'm going to search for charts. And then we've got all these different charts in here. Now, some of them are really cool, some of them okay and interesting. I really like, well, not so much the pie chart, but the donut chart over there. And I'm going to click on that, and that pops it straight in. I'm going to just size it down a little bit over there because we want that chart to be over there. And then I can go and change all the labels and the values. So down here I've got things like network, ideas and growth, and those are the three that I want in here. So item 1 is going to be network, ideas, oops, I left in the item 1. Let's try that again. Network, this one over here, ideas, and that one is going to be growth. And the networking, well, that's not that important, so I'm going to give it 25. Let's try that again with 25 over there. The ideas over here, I think this is really important, so I'm going to give that 78, and this one over here, the growth, is going to be 130 because that's very, very important in there. Now this one here we don't want, so I'm just going to delete those, and that one can be deleted as well. And that gives us our nice little pie chart over there. If I go along to the colors over here, you see by clicking on these colors, I've got the color editor which I can go to, and I can just choose different colors for those areas as well. Let me do that again with the next one. So I click on it, see the three little buttons there, click more. I can go to the edit color, and I can change to a different color for that. I'm just kind of using some vague colors that worked down the bottom there. I really like those blues, but there we go. So click on the three dots, edit color, and pick yourself another color like so. And we've got so many different charts down the bottom in there, and most of them are actually pretty cool to be honest. If I go over onto my chart itself, you'll see there's some more options along the top. I can see the three colors that I've got in there. I can click on the data to go back to the data in here as well. You can change the fonts, you can change the font sizes. Everything that you normally do is all available up here, plus some extra bits down here like labels and being able to upload data from an XLS file or a CSV file. Now, for those of you who are really into your data and graphs, there's another type of chart that we can use as well. I'm going to go to apps and just type in chart or charts in the apps, and it gives you something called Chart Plus. If I click on that, this allows me to do all kinds of different charts. So I'm going to just go back a little bit here. You can see we've got histograms, ridge lines, heat maps, all kinds of charts down to map charts in here. Now I'm going to pick one of these charts. I'm going to go to this bubble map, click on that, and to help you, they actually give you some examples that you can work from. Now the idea is that you actually have all your data in a CSV file, as you can see over there, and if you're not sure, just go over to here and click on the example data set, and it will show you how the data should be done in your CSV file. So this particular one is all about different areas on a map, and we have got latitude and longitude coordinates. So if we just take this bottom one over here, so it's 58, minus 3.83. Then we've got the group, we've got the size, and we've got the name in there. So to use it, all you have to do is to choose the file, and I've got one here. I'm going to click on that, click open, and it then shows me that information on a map here. Now going down, I'm just going to zoom into that map a little bit more, and we'll just update the preview until I get the area that I want. I can change the colors on the map if I wish, but once I've done that, I just say add to design, and it brings it straight in like so. And this information here, these bubbles over there, are the information that were in the data set. So over here, for example, we've got Paris in there, and there is the latitude and longitude for Paris, and that would be right in over there. If you want to try that one out, have a bit of a go with that. If you're not so into data and want to try something else, by all means have another go with one of those other charts in there. Now let's go and export this out, ready for printing. So I'm going to go across to Share, and I'm going to go down to Download, and I want to choose the PDF for print option. Now in the PDF for print, I'm going to say make sure that I include crop marks and bleeds. I've got both pages which I've selected, and over here where it says RGB, I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to choose CMYK Best for Professional Printing. And then I will just download that, and then let's have a look at that. Now that I've downloaded it, I'm going to pop it onto my desktop over there. I'll call this conference, and I'm going to click on Save. Now while I'm here, I'm also going to prepare a version which I can then pass on to other people as a PDF to just email around. So I'm going to share again, do the same thing, download, but this time I'm going to use the PDF standard over there. Once again, let's click on a download and wait for that to do its thing. Now I'm going to save this, and I'm going to call this conference email, and save that. Let's go and have a look at those. So we've got in the PDFs two options here. Let's have a look at the conference email. That's this one over here, and we'll just zoom out a little bit so you can see that's what we'll be sending to people. There are 2 pages in there, everything's done. Let's have a look at the one for printing though. Now this one's slightly different. You see it's got a white border around it, but it's also got these little cut marks in there. So those will be on all 4 corners of both of those. So what happened is when you designed this, what you could see was the page up to where those crop marks are. You couldn't see the sort of outer edge over here. This is known as a bleed, and a bleed is an extra area that gets printed. So when the guillotine cuts these up into the correct sizes, you don't sort of get a little white funny mark in there if the guillotine is not perfect. So it cuts it into that printed area in there. And that's important. When you design it, you need to make sure that your picture is slightly bigger than the page that you're designing, so you can make sure that you get that bleed mark in there. Let's zoom out a bit and you'll see both of them are the same. And this one's been converted into CMYK as well, which is the color mode that the printers require. Have a go with that. Try both of them. Try one for emailing and round, one for printing commercially. If you're going to be printing something on the office printer, you probably won't need these bleed marks. You can just do it as a standard PDF like so. Have a go with that.